Welcome to Kevin's European Garage, and today I'm going to be changing the rear control links on my 1999 Porsche 911 996. So now I'm going to be doing the rear control links on my car. I'm going to use the Melee ones again. I had pretty good luck with the front ones, and so I'm going to use the same ones for the rear. The last time I was looking at these, it says Hamburg, Germany, but now on the bag, again, that's a little sticker, at least my last ones didn't have it, and this one does, where it says made in Taiwan. So these are actually made in Taiwan, and the company is German-based out of Hamburg. So we putting these in there, and someone had made a comment in my last video about ones I did in the front that these need to be going on a certain way. You know, there's a top and a bottom to them. And after speaking to Melee, they say that they're universal. It doesn't matter if they're up or down. They both, it's all the same. So that's a good thing. So if you can just put them on any which way you want. So let's get these on the car. Okay, so this is the arm that we're going to be replacing. It attaches to the main lower control arm right over here. And then the other end of it is behind this panel. So we're going to have to take this panel off to get access to it. And it's just a couple 10mm plastic nuts over here. 1, 2, 3. So now with the panel out of the way, we can get access to over to here to take this this nut out. Looks like the nut is really tight up inside there, so it might be interesting to try to get it out. All right, you're also going to need to take the screw off over here so you can lower the panel down so you can get access. Now with this panel down, you should be able to get access up in here and be able to use it's an 18mm nut that's over here. This is the control arm. This is the bolt that runs through the rear subframe, and I managed to get this 21mm wrench on this over here. Kind of had to sneak it through this way and behind. All right, maybe once we loosen up the other one, we'll be able to slide this thing out. Okay, so next we got this over here. This is the same thing. It's got a 21mm nut on the top and the 18mm bolt on the bottom. As that, this thing's got a little bit of pressure on it. Once you loosen it up, and the other nut can come out, so you can get this thing out. And that's it. And let's put this on the bench and we'll take a look at it. All right, so here's the factory one compared to the Melee one. And you can see that this thing is definitely the original one. It's like someone did a little gouge on it. But you can see this thing moves freely inside here. So I think I feel a slight little click. I didn't hear anything, but doesn't mean that there's not something going on. This over here, I can't even begin to move it. So let's get ready to put this one in there. So for fun, I just figured I'd put it into the vise and see what would happen. So when I put it in the vise and I pull up and down like this, I can feel a slight little clicking in it. So it definitely has some play. Plus, you can definitely tell that it's worn because it shouldn't just easily move around like that. So it's got a little bit clicking. So I would imagine, who knows, in the near future, then I'll actually start hearing some audible noise from it, and that would give me an indication. But right now, it's just a good idea just to change these because I'm changing everything in the suspension. Just change everything, get everything nice and fresh, and start from new. All right, so let's get this thing in, and let's try to see how we're gonna do this first. One thing you can do is I can inspect this bushing over here, see what kind of condition this thing is in. Let's take one of the bolts and put it in there. This thing's actually in pretty decent shape. And this thing looks like it's in pretty good shape too. I don't feel any play from any of these things. I think this will be okay for right now. Let's get this in. There we go. Take a little persuasion. So you just gotta slide it in this way first, with this back all the way here. Then you can slide this thing in and out. Put that long bolt up in there. Now my nut is still up on top over here, so I gotta be careful of that nut. All right, the nut's started. Now let's get the other half over here on. Don't want to jack up much. Just enough to kind of level this thing out a little bit. That feels pretty good. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Just a little tap to finish it off. I can lower it on the suspension. Yeah, but just with a little twist on that bushing, it's just enough to make this a little hard to get in. So looks like you're definitely gonna have to jack up the rear suspension a little bit just to make this thing more straight compared to this, and then you should be fine. So unfortunately, my torque wrench doesn't go up to the required, tightening for this over here. So this one is 160 Newton meters, and the other one in the back side is 180. So unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to use my my impact gun until I finally get myself my torque wrench back. Okay, so now the control arm is in, and now we got to reconnect back up the plastic parts over here. See how the panels line back up, and now I just got the 3 plastic nuts left. Okay, so now it's time to take the car for a test drive, and it's really cool is that every single time I replace something, you can feel how the little incremental changes are as far as the way that the car handles the chassis and everything, and how the dynamics slightly change compared to having all those worn components to having nice new tight components in the car. I didn't feel anything when I had the car up in the air and I was shaking the tires. I didn't feel any play or anything, but when I put that one into the vise and I was pulling on it, I could feel a little bit of a click in there. And I have a feeling that when you're putting a lot more force on these components, you're getting more play, more than I can actually exert on them themselves. So even though sometimes you might not feel anything, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not worn. So I can tell you that just from changing those 2 rear lower control arm links in the back, I can really feel a difference in how the rear end feels a little bit more tighter when I'm going around turns, and it just an overall makes your driving experience a little bit more fun with the car. And I suggest that if they're old, or you don't know when the last time it was changed, they're not really a hard thing to do. It doesn't cost a lot of money to buy them. I have noticed a little uptick in the price on these. Some companies are selling them for around $150 each, and they can still be had for right now at like around $120. So I don't know if the cost of this stuff is going to be creeping up slightly, how everything else is right now. So if you're thinking about it, now might be a good time to purchase them, just so that you don't end up having to pay more than you really have to. So thanks for watching Kevin's European Garage, and thanks for watching me put my rear control links in the car. Please subscribe and like my videos over here, so I can know that if you guys actually want to see more. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon.